When we think of American football and the National Football League, our thoughts are automatically flooded with a sense of patriotism. Bald eagles, grilling burgers and hot dogs, and beer. Go America! Saluting the flag before each game and honoring our veterans in military service during the events, we as a country have come to associate the two together, those two being football in the United States of America. The NFL is a monstrosity of a sport organization and an industry composed of billions of dollars, so its popularity is quite up there, to say the least. Anything that changes in the league does not go unnoticed. So let's go back in time to the beginning of the football season in the fall of 2016. Amidst of what seemed to be a continuous series of police brutality and black oppression, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick decided to take a stand against the hatred, or in this case, take a knee. Whoa. When did any professional athlete ever do something like that in our lifetime? As I mentioned before, anything that occurs in the NFL is going to circulate the media immediately after it happens, especially in this day and age where we carry portable technology with us all around. We literally have the world in our hands, yet somehow, with all of this provided information, our society is still stubborn on not accepting others' rights to hold opinions on controversial issues, such as these national anthem protests. Peaceful protests, might I add. I want to explore how Kaepernick used his platform to kickstart a necessary conversation, the difference in stances on the issue and how it has taken away the true meaning of the protests, and hopefully by this I can advise you all to support these players' rights. So how it all started. On August 26, 2016, Colin Kaepernick opted to not stand during the Star-Spangled Banner before the 49ers preseason game against the Green Bay Packers. Why? To raise awareness and bring it justice for the alarming number of unarmed African-American citizens that were murdered by the nation's police force. Where was Eric Garner's justice when he was held in a chokehold by an officer repeating the same phrase, "I can't breathe," 11 times before he died? Or what about the gunshot fired by George Zimmerman that killed Trayvon Martin? How about Michael Brown, Alton Sterling, Sean Bell, Kendra James, Ronald Madison? Where's their justice? The worst part about this all is that the majority of these murders were caught on video, clearly showing the victim was doing no wrong. It was not long before Kaepernick was joined by teammate Eric Reed kneeling on the sidelines during the national anthem. This sparked a fire among other athletes on other teams and even in other leagues. And it continued to carry through to this football season. According to Newsweek, back in September marked one of the largest protests across the NFL, with over 200 players and staff opting to take a knee during the national anthem. These kneeling players are simply asking America to do better on criminal justice. We are living in a world that seems to be moving backwards when it comes to progress. With the civil rights movement not too long ago, racial discrimination and people of color facing violence was the issue of the times. Yet this issue is more prevalent now than ever because we are nearing the end of 2017 and America needs to wake up from this complacency. Let us not forget about how players in the NBA wore customized shirts that displayed "I can't breathe" to honor Eric Garner, but also to raise awareness. So why is kneeling in the NFL causing such a ruckus among the public? When was kneeling ever a sign of disrespect? As per usual, there are always different sides to arguments, and now that I have presented the issue at hand, I want to take a look at how these peaceful protests are viewed from different perceptions, the first being unpatriotic. In Trump's America, all NFL protesters are unpatriotic, disrespectful, and essentially felons for kneeling instead of standing. As described by Sports Illustrated, Kaepernick's bravery has received an overwhelming reaction of disdain. These players are disrespecting the military and those who fought for our country, for our freedom. Kneeling during the national anthem is perceived as going against exactly what the American flag represents. Opposing players like Victor Cruz state that you gotta respect the flag. This is much bigger than us. It is not about disproportionate use of power and police force against minorities to those who oppose the peaceful protests. It is about honoring our nation, admiring and appreciating those who have fought for it. The second point of view of these protests are that they are patriotic. On the other hand, isn't exercising our constitutional right of freedom of expression extremely patriotic? That is exactly what our flag stands for. That is what our military forces fought for, our right to be free. Let's look at the facts. Kaepernick is not hooked on drugs, he does not abuse women, and he is not a criminal. Yet somehow, the attention has still been taken away from what this message and these athletes have been trying to get across. Here is a quote from Trump referencing the issue. "Let's not get distracted, Mr. President. They are not disrespecting the flag. They are exercising their right to speak out against injustices in our society that need immediate attention. I want to bring up this image to further justify my point. You can see a man dressed in a military uniform, holding a sign that says, "Don't you dare kneel for my anthem." My anthem? Is the national anthem for this man only? Obviously not. It is the national anthem, emphasis on the national. It represents the freedom that our country has fought long and hard to achieve. Any American citizen has the right to salute it the way they want. We may be free, but we do not treat others equally, and it is what these players, as well as many other activists, are working towards, to create a better future. After explaining both sides of the issue and how the true meaning of the protests is being clouded, I am hoping I can at least convince you all to praise these players for their bravery. As a sport management major, I have to look at this issue from a business standpoint. Kaepernick and these players are literally risking it all to participate in something much bigger than them. They put their job security, sponsorships, income, and fan following all on the line to speak up for what they believe in, and that takes great responsibility and great passion. As many of you may know, because of these protests, Colin Kaepernick had originally been benched from starting quarterback to eventually being released by the 49ers. In my opinion, he lost his job for doing nothing wrong. But opinions cannot get in the way of when you look at it from an organization's point of view. It was causing bad PR. And other teams, such as the Baltimore Ravens, considered signing him, but ultimately decided against it because it would have caused an uproar among their fans. You cannot have your fan base divided on an issue like this, and to displease one side would cause a huge loss in revenue. People who hate Kaepernick for his peaceful protests would most certainly not want to come to the games to watch him play, wherever he got signed. Unfortunately, this is the reality we live in today, where an American figurehead cannot speak up for what they believe in without receiving unnecessary repercussions. Circle back to the beginning of my speech, where I discussed how these protests first came about. When you look at it, it has only been 1 year since Kaepernick first took a knee, yet it feels like that was forever ago. He may not be in the league anymore at the moment, but he made a lasting impact on the rest involved, where we can see teams and staff linking arms in unity to keep the message circulating in everyday conversation. According to an article published by Counterpunch, almost 70% of players in the NFL are African American, and Kaepernick had the guts to combat injustices for those who maybe did not. I explained what the different point of views were regarding the issue, whether these peaceful protests were patriotic or unpatriotic, and how politics can affect an organization's business decisions. I understand that this is an extremely controversial topic, and I do not want to sound like I am attacking others for what they believe in, but I am confident that we can all agree on the players' peaceful protests being a just cause and ultimately raise more awareness on police brutality and oppression.